Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. The videos you just watched are videos of a business tycoon in Nigeria, West Africa, being sentenced to death by hanging alongside some of his employees at one of his huge hotels in Nigeria. Why this sentence, I'm sure you are asking. Well, today's true crime story is going to tell you why, and it's going to send shivers down your spine, I can imagine, because it is about a man who was an MBA student on distance education, about to write his exams, and decided that he was going to lodge at a hotel and then prepare for the exam and go and write it, as he has been doing over the years. Unfortunately for him, when he checked into the hotel, he never checked out. He will be checked out by others as a corpse with some vital organs missing from his body. This is the true crime story of Timothy Adegoke and how he was unfortunately murdered after checking into a hotel in Nigeria. This is one that is going to send shivers down your spine. And if you are ready for this true crime story, just buckle up and let's go. Now, before we get into today's video, kindly support our campaign against femicide by going to the comment section and just type in "Say no to femicide" or hashtag "Please stop the femicide." Thank you for the support. Again, also subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet done so. Our analytics are telling us that most of you viewers are enjoying our videos, but you haven't subscribed to our channel. This is not helping us grow, and this is not helping the campaign as well. Kindly hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet done so. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Keep going with us and you will enjoy more. Now to the substantive issue at hand. This is a very fresh case. It's been traveling almost 2 years and a verdict has been given in court. We are going to take you on a journey from the genesis of the case through to things that happened, investigations that took place and the findings thereof, and then finally the verdict as passed by the court on 30th of May 2023. We will jump in, and we are starting with the victim, Timothy Adegoke, an alleged chartered accountant who was pursuing his master's in business administration at a university called the Obafemi Awolowo University, abbreviated as OAU, in Ile Ife, Osun State in Nigeria. This is a very good gesture on his part, and he was taking this program via distance education. He was an employee, and then he was also a father of 3, happily married. So obviously the distance education would work for him per his current status in life. Now, Timothy reportedly had a habit of checking into a particular hotel in preparation for his MBA examination. This hotel happened to be one hotel called Hilton Hotels and Resorts, and this wasn't the first time he was going to check in. He has done it before and he decided that he was going to do it again. So he checked in on November 5th, and then he informed his wife that, "Hi honey, I've checked into the Hilton Hotel as I do, and I'm preparing to write my examination." So everything was cool. It was a normal thing and life was going on. But some way, somehow, strangely enough, his wife after that tried reaching him severally, but there was no response from her husband. Timothy wasn't responding to his wife's calls. His wife became a bit worried, and I tip my hats off to the wife. you could see that her instincts were sharp and she didn't calm it down by trying to just ignore what she was feeling or what her instincts were telling her, because she actually followed up with the school, who would also tell her that her husband did not even show up to take the exam. And this was when she realized that no, there was something wrong. There is no way my husband will leave home, check into a hotel to prepare for an exam, and he wouldn't even show up to write the exam. And moreover, he's not even picking my calls. So she lodged a complaint to the family of her husband, and collectively, they then lodged a complaint to the police. And then investigations commenced. When the police were invited, and in the course of their investigations, it was discovered that Timothy had paid 37,000 naira as his hotel bill for 2 nights into the account of a lady called Adedeji Tobiloba Adesola, who is a female member of the staff of the Hilton Hotel. Now, despite the fact that the hotel had been his choice hotel, as he had stayed there for his examination previously, as I mentioned, the hotel management, surprisingly, with the founder as well, allegedly denied that Timothy Adegoke had ever lodged at the hotel for the November examination, which he had actually told his wife he was at the hotel. However, Adesola was eventually apprehended, and she confessed to have allocated room number 305 of the Hilton Hotel to Timothy Adegoke on November 5th. So this was confirmation to the police now that I lied. He was actually at this hotel and I am the receptionist. I assigned him to room 305. So the question then was, where is he? Her confession reportedly then led to the arrest of 6 other suspects, including an alpha and Prince Adedoyin, a business tycoon and one of the wealthy rich men in Nigeria. Now, the story is obviously longer, and I'm going to take you down that trip because it gets intriguing, in as much as it's also incredibly surprising how wicked some people can be. It will turn out that, unfortunately, Timothy Adegoke had been killed and his corpse buried. But the questions that lingered were, where was he killed at? Who killed him? And from where was his corpse exhumed? So these are questions I also sought to get answers to in my investigations. But unfortunately, it was rather the victims' relations that witnessed the exhumation, and they indicated that Timothy was actually buried near the Hilton Hotel, and he was wrapped with one of the hotel's bed sheets. Further information added that his throat had allegedly been slit, and surprisingly, some of his organs were missing. In Africa, if you see signs like this, or if you see things like this, it's 2 things involved, or one of 2 things involved: either ritual murder or maybe organ harvesting. Either way, they are against the law, and nobody deserves to be put through that. So from this point, Mr. Adeniyi Aderuba, who was the hotel manager of Hilton Hotel, was then picked up, and he described how the body of Timothy Adegoke was dumped in the bush on the Ile Ife road. He went on to also say that this happened between 11 p.m. and 12 midnight on the 7th of November 2021. But obviously, they had already taken his life before this 7th of November. That's how come his wife couldn't even reach him after they last spoke on the 5th of November. I think that they were waiting for when the coast was clear to see how they would dispose of his body. But he was already dead a couple of hours in the hotel, maybe for a day or two, before they disposed of him. Now, Timothy, like I said, was a postgraduate student of Obafemi Awolowo University, and he was taking an MBA program there. Now, this is where the whole thing gets tricky, because the hotel manager, who is the third defendant, was led in evidence by his counsel when they were in court recently. Now, he said that Ramon Adedoyin informed him that he had reported the death of Timothy Adegoke to the police, and that the police instructed them to take the body to the mortuary. He also said that Ramon Adedoyin and Kazeem Oyetunde, another employee, had carried the lifeless body of Adegoke from room 305 into a Hilux vehicle, and that Rahim drove them to Ede Road, where they dumped the body together with the late Timothy Adegoke's laptop, mobile phone, and bag. But when he was being cross-examined, the story changed, because Aderuba was asked if the place where Adegoke's body was dumped looked like a mortuary, and he replied in the negative. Aderuba also said that he confirmed that Adegoke was dead, and was asked whether he called a doctor to confirm the death, because obviously you are a hotel staff, you don't have the medical expertise to confirm a death. To this, he replied in the negative, and he also said that he did not report the death of Timothy Adegoke to the police. He would, however, admit that he called Dr. Ramon Adedoyin, who is the owner of the hotel, to inform him about the death of Adegoke. So this is where it gets even trickier for the owner of the hotel, because now he knows. If this is true, now he knows. And what steps he takes can implicate him in conspiracy and other things associated with this murder. Now, Mr. Omosum further asked if he found blood coming out of the nose of the deceased when he examined the body. When he denied seeing that, the lawyer then made this staff who is testifying read his previous statement to the police, where he said that when he visited room 305, he saw Adegoke's body with blood coming out of his nose. So under cross-examination, these guys were fumbling. The responses they were given were inconsistent with what they had stated earlier in their statement to the police. And straight away, they looked very suspicious and maybe even guilty. So it went on, and then the receptionist at the hotel was also brought into the dock. Questions were thrown at her, she was fumbling, and a second receptionist also came in and actually admitted that they were asked to delete all pictures that they took after the body of the deceased was found. So why would they be asked to do that unless there was something they were hiding? Now, this second receptionist, bear in mind, would end up being acquitted and discharged. She was not sentenced. And the prosecution went on. At a point, the main man himself was also pronounced with a sentence where he ended up being sentenced to death by hanging for the part he played in the murder of Timothy Adegoke. Timothy Adegoke is survived by a wife and 3 children, as well as his parents. In addition to this sentence, the estate of Ramon have been tasked to take care of everything concerning Timothy Adegoke's 3 children until they complete the university and national service in Nigeria. This, in as much as I think is commendable, I'm also wondering how it will go when the estate of the man who has been convicted as being part of the plot that took away these kids' father is the one going to take care of these kids. I don't know how that will be managed. It's a bit new to me, and I choose to believe that the legal system in Nigeria would have it well structured, that it will be safe and secure and probably untraumatic for the children involved, such that it wouldn't be used as a medium to get back at them or their family in any form. But this is what has happened, and you saw Ramon being clueless after he was sentenced, because if you look at him, you would see that he was just off. And the sentence of death by hanging was not to him alone, also 2 of his employees, and the first secretary, Adedeji, was sentenced to 2 years. Now, this case has traveled for about 2 years, and there are people who have made so much noise about this case since its inception, because it was looking like a case of, excuse my language, the rich versus the poor, because Ramon is a very big business tycoon in Nigeria. He owns the hotel, he owns a university, as well as other chains of businesses. And he being a prime suspect in this murder was a problem for most people, because they felt that he could pay his way out or influence his way out of the case, and justice would be avoided, or justice would not be served for the family and memory of Timothy Adegoke. So there were people who were really pushing the agenda for justice for Timothy. People were pushing the agenda to the extent that the case could not be ignored. And I tip my hats off to these people, because it is not easy when there's an issue at hand and the main culprit at the center of the issue is a wealthy man with influence. Sometimes, if you speak too much about it, especially here in Africa, you could even end up endangering your own life or endangering the lives of the people around you. But kudos to the people who stood up and spoke to these issues. I think that it's a very honorable thing to do, because we have to watch our backs as people. And they did that exactly, especially the students of OAU, the institution that Timothy used to attend before his unfortunate demise. I don't know if Ramon and his other accomplices are going to appeal the sentence, but as it stands now, that is the sentence. They've been sentenced to death by hanging. And some people say it's justice. They are excited. In as much as to an extent it's justice, I think, like I've been saying, the harm has already been done. It will give closure to the family of Timothy to an extent, to give them some feeling of justice to an extent, knowing that the people responsible have been brought to book, but it still wouldn't bring Timothy back. That's not to say the law isn't good. It's great. But I think that we have to get to a point where we are able to prevent this from even happening in the first place, so that we could have Timothy with us, his kids could have their father with them, his wife would have her husband with her, and the family will be happy. I don't know how we are going to get there, but I think that should be the ultimate for future crime prevention. And I also tip my hats off to Timothy, even in his death, that he was able to do the right thing by letting his wife know where he was lodging, such that when he couldn't be accounted for, when he was not responding to his phone calls, his wife knew which institution to direct her suspicion to and her concerns to. That is very critical, and I think we should take a cue from that, because imagine Timothy hadn't even told his wife where he was lodging. How would she have known? There are several hotels around. Where would she go? Who would she go and ask? And even if she happened to chance on the Hilton Hotel, they would have easily denied it, and she wouldn't have any cause to believe or insist that he was there and that they are lying. So that is what has happened. I tip my hats off also to the legal system, the justice system of Nigeria. I think they've done a great job, and this will serve as an example to several of the rich men in that country that your wealth doesn't give you a get out of jail free card, such that because you are rich, you can get away with crime. The law will catch you and bite you in your ass. Yeah, excuse my language, but that's the best way to put it. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let's leave our condolences and extend them to the families of Timothy Adegoke and his wife and kids. And now let's also wish him a peaceful rest as he sleeps with his maker. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. We appreciate your support so far. Leave your comments in the comment section. Share this video, and hey, go to our playlist. You'll find several other videos like this. I'm sure you'd get favorites in addition to this one. Enjoy them, leave your feedback, and help us improve the channel. Till we come your way next time, please keep an eye out. The world is becoming more dangerous by the day. Staying at a hotel isn't even safe anymore. We'll catch you next time.